This week on Showdown.
Welcome back. Well, gap years are a luxury usually associated with lucky school or university leavers embarking on a backpacking adventure, but not anymore. The executive gap year has emerged as a new trend for high flyers keen to take a break before moving on to their next project, or keen to spend their payouts on travelling the world. Well, David McGonigal is one of Australia's most widely published travel writers and has just returned from a gap year of his own, and he joins me now. David, thanks so much for your time. First of all, just tell us, how popular is this idea of an executive gap year? Do many people actually do that?
Hi Kate, I think you're finding more and more people are doing it all the time. If you just simply look at in the Financial Review and the number of people who, when they say they're leaving work, it always finishes up saying X is going travelling for a while and then coming back to consider their options. And that's what they do. They all kind of jump on a plane and go somewhere and have the gap year they may have missed when they jump straight on the corporate ladder after finishing study. OK,
so you yourself took a gap year. David, what was the catalyst for that year off?
My wife was the CEO of a media company, and she quit that job. And she had never been outside the country for more than 2 weeks at a time, and mostly that was for work. So I think within a month of her leaving the job, we were on our way.
OK, and so tell us about your year. What did you do?
We started fairly relaxed. We went to the Angkor Wat and spent some time around the temples of Angkor Wat. Then it was time to actually do something a little bit more active, so we went up to Anantara Golden Triangle at the top of Thailand and spent a few days learning how to be elephant handlers. So we're basically given our own elephants, and we had to take them into the river at dawn and wash them, and then we had to learn enough commands and get them to listen to us enough to take them through a slalom course. And
did you continue further afield?
It certainly did. From there it was off to Rome and Venice next, and then stayed at the Cipriani there and went kayaking through the canals of Venice. So we were trying to find things a little bit different. Did a cooking class at the Villa San Michele in Florence, and then down to Rome, where we joined a crystal cruise from Rome to Istanbul. So from there flew back and had a really luxurious weekend in Monaco. The whole helicopter transfers in, and that was pure delight. And then we picked up our leased car, spent a week with some friends in a chateau in France, another week on a canal boat down through the Canal du Midi, and then through the Channel across to the UK, and ended up in Ireland, which was actually a great place to finish that major part of the trip. Wow, that sounds fantastic. We're having a look at some of your holiday snaps right now and making me very envious indeed. David, let's move on to your budget, because I think you said you caught a helicopter in and out of Monaco. How do you stretch a budget to last a whole year? Actually, the helicopter's owned by Monaco itself, the whole helicopter service, so it's surprisingly cheap. It's probably cheaper than getting a cab. So, but it's a great way of arriving, kind of flying along that bit of the Riviera. But I think probably when you're looking at your budget, you've normally got a significant payout as a CEO, and you probably had long service leave and everything in that. So I guess it's a matter of putting aside enough money to cover the bills back home, and then putting aside more money to have some money to live on when you get home, and regarding the rest of it is your travel allowance. Do you get tired of eating out, and do you put on weight? Does it get a bit old after a while? I think we're really sensible about this. Rarely for us, I'd say, but we kind of avoided all that rubbish food you can find on the road. So we were kind of having hotel breakfasts and trying to keep those fairly light, maybe not even doing anything with lunch, or having a very light lunch, and then having the splurge as dinner each night. So that was kind of the meal where we'd actually try and find something different. So, what about being worried about being out of the workforce for that long and then coming back and having to start all over again? Did that weigh on you during that time? It didn't worry us, and we actually spoke to Nancy Roman, who's an executive career advisor, I guess, and Nancy was suggesting that as long as you weren't away for more than 2 years, after 2 years you might be becoming a little bit of ancient history, but up to that everyone's just envious and thinks you probably got a great payout. And do you think in some ways it helps your career? I think it helps enormously. I'm just watching, since we got back, Sandra's gone on several boards, and you can just see she's got this helicopter view of the world. She kind of knows what's happening with a whole bunch of things in different countries. So it's not just an Australian perspective. She's I've come back with, I guess, the luxury of having a world perspective on a lot of issues. And if you're an exec, you're going to follow up on the bits you're interested in anyway, so that's what you're going to be looking at while you're travelling.
David McGonigal, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kate.